Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, Ochako, and Tokage. Now, these three, they were in a bit of a situation. Deku and Tokage on their last supply run got a lot of stuff. Deku dropped it off whenever he went to go check in with everybody. Ochako went out to gather supplies because Tokage was not doing well. And Deku, whenever he got back to the base, he went out to help Ochako. Because he wasn't sure if she was aware there could be something out there. Deku was skeptical about it. However, after finding Ochako, she was attacked, and so was he. They discovered a bulletproof variant of zombie, and it kept getting back up after consecutive headshots. And this was not good. Now, Izuku, whenever him and Ochako ditched their clothes to try and run, they were in a building. The bags were left there, along with Ochako's coat. And Izuku, after he was able to get this thing onto the ground, he tried to stab it with a knife. But his knife broke, and he was able to take it down by shooting into its jaw that was unhinged, and actually getting through the armor and into the unarmored mouth. Now, this was alarming. This thing could bite through their bite-proof clothing. And it was fast. It ran on all fours, was bulletproof, and had a spiked tail, something that it could use to attack. It was built for the winter environment. And Izuku and Ochako had to run. They went tumbling through a building where more zombies were showing up, and they showed they were warm enough to move. A deceiver and another zombie Izuku didn't really want to handle. Now, the two got back to base with Tokage's help, and Izuku, he was exposed to the code more than Ochako was, and that is a bit of a problem. Tokage currently took them back and is trying to get them help. However, things are not good. The wind started to pick up, and a storm was moving in. She could tell. It hasn't been good for either of them. Right now, all of them have been through the cold, and she's pretty sure that Ochako and Izuku might also be getting sick. She's okay, at least she thinks. But right now, her main concern is her friends, whose injuries need to be tended to, otherwise, they could probably bleed to death. They left quite a trail behind when they got back home, and that is another concern of hers right now. But another concern is also trying to keep them warm, safe, and alive. Now, Tokage tried to take care of their injuries and tried to help them. She also tried to get them warm. However, the electric stove that they have, it can only do so much. It can only be powered by so much. And that battery doesn't have a lot of charge left. She decided to turn it on and set it in a room where it can heat it up and hopefully produce some warmth. Izuku and Ochako are currently lying in that room and trying to recover. However, she does do one thing. She does head upstairs. Currently, her walking out onto the roof and looking out, trying to see if there's any sun at all. And currently, she would look around, the wind blowing a bit harsh as she does get stare out. And there's nothing. It's hard to tell. Though the snow, it might get covered. The red trail they left behind will disappear. And that is one of the only good things to come out of the situation. Tokage, currently, going to actually turn back and walk inside. They're trying to think about it. There's got to be something that she can do. A way to help them. She already got their injuries looked at. Ochako is okay. But there's also Izuku. Izuku, his hand, his arm, those marks on it. That doesn't look like a bite. It looks like a stab. Like he was almost impaled on a fence. Ugh. Whatever that thing must have been, it must have been bad. But actually bulletproof? No. No. A deceiver, if it's cold enough, would be bulletproof, right? I mean, they're smart, not stupid either. Okay. Tokage just trying to think. Her right now walking into the room. And Deku, he does lay there, somewhat shivering, as he is covered in blankets and in some dry clothes. And Ochako just lay there as well. Currently, her laying there, still cold and trying to regain some of her warmth. And I know Ochako, we just won't roll over. Her trying to throw the blanket off as she does try to sit up. Her going to somewhat stand and try to move out of the room. But Tokage will going to stand and move herself. Bring her hands up and grabbing onto Ochako. Ochako looking around and trying to talk about it. About how it's too hot, it's too hot. And currently Tokage would try to help her friend. Trying to at least get her back in the right mind state and focused. Look at her. Look at her. And Ochako, yeah, it's still pretty difficult. She's a bit better, though she's worried about both of them falling asleep. I mean, Ochako was able to stay awake for some time, but she's been in and out of it. As for Izuku, her turning to him, and Deku, he does lay there. His body does shake. He does show that he's still alive, but he's still almost as stiff as a corpse. I mean, he lost a lot of blood. Whatever that thing is, it was able to get him on the back. And that was a big problem. She had a needle and some thread, but other than that, the bandages should stop the bleeding, right? I mean, there's the idea she just have to cauterize it, but it's gonna produce one hell of a sound. Along with that, it's definitely gonna hurt. Plus, it could cause more damage than it's worth. And Tokage would a turn. Her going to actually bring her hand up and holding on to a bullet. Her bringing the pliers and trying to think. This could waste ammo. It could do quite a bit. Though some of these bullets they don't have the guns for. They don't have the resources for. Yeah, well, I mean, the last time she checked, they don't have a shotgun. They have that fucking thing outside, but as far as she's aware, a giant ball, well, a few of them, and a whole hell of a lot of gunpowder, it'll definitely fuck something up. Closest thing they got. That in her mind. And when we do currently cut to Izuku's mind, Deku, he's confused. He just sits there, staring out the window, thinking about a few things. He can hear something, but he doesn't know what. And it's a bit surprising. Him turning his head, as someone would have smacked down a paper, expressing to him, you know, he really is a bit lost. I'm going to turn and seeing Ochako. Hmm? Yeah, maybe you're right. Sorry, just I got a few things in my head. Him looking around, and Izuku finds himself back in Class 1A, and everything is normal. Class is going as it should. People are alive, people are here, and Mr. Aizawa, he's at the front of the classroom, talking about a few things, going over the next lesson. And Izuku, he does his stare on. Him looking up, and then going to turn back outside, with a lot in his mind. And it feels a bit weird how things are, the way everything is. And the day goes normally. He heads home. He sees his mom. He sees his dad. But something doesn't feel right. And Izuku, his dream does continue. He feels like there's something going on, something that he doesn't recognize, he doesn't hear properly. Everything's muffled over this sound, but What is that sound? No, it's not the pattern of his footsteps. It's not anything like that. What exactly is it? And currently, we do come back to Tokage. Tokage does sit there. Her looking up, as they're actually with the electric stove, it does go out. And the heat, it does go to stop being produced. And currently, she will go to look up. Her staring at that, as Ochako does lay there. Right now, her walking over and going to try and pat the two down with more and more blankets. Concerned. All they have left are the wet clothes and, well, the firewood. But starting a fire inside? Yeah, bad idea. Very, very bad idea. Okay, okay. Well, starting one in a pot could be good. Just keep it up by the window. No, no, she'd have to open. Okay, she'd have to open the window, and that's definitely something. It's concerning. Her turning to Ochako. And Ochako, she is warming up, though she's also getting a bit of a fever. She wants to remove the blankets, maybe stop her from overheating. But she's okay. She's still okay. And there currently is Izuku, who he is laying there. And Tokage can tell. He's pale. He's pale as a corpse. And it has her concerned. Her bending down and going to actually turn. Bring her hand down onto Deku's head, and he still feels icy. Shaking. Though that shaking is a good thing. His body is trying to stay warm. It's trying to do what it can. And it's doing a lot. But it can only do so much. And currently Tokage does sit there. Her a lot more alarmed as she doesn't hear a sound. Right now there being a bang on the door downstairs. And she will get a turn, getting up and walking to the door. Her going to open up slowly and look outside. Currently her hearing a voice as it is a plead to be let in. And this, it is a bit more concerning. Currently her going to go into the hallway and carefully walk downstairs. And right now, Tokage does get a turn. Bring her hand up and grabbing onto the quote unquote blunderbuss in question. Now, currently she would look at the door and she would hear it again. That sound. It doesn't sound right. Her hearing the banging again. And right now it does get to talk about it. Please, please let her in. And Tokage will go to freeze. Since that sounds like a kid. Please, please, it's so cold out here. Please, let me in. And right now she does get a freeze. Hearing that voice. It doesn't. No, no, no. No, 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 no. That's not. That. That isn't a kid. Her, her gonna hold up the weapon. I know the weapon. It doesn't click. And the thing on the other side, it heard that. Currently, it pounding on the door a little bit harder. Please let her in. It's so cold out here. It's freezing. She wants to find her mommy. And that, it does concern her. She has the idea. Blow away the entire door. Blow away whatever the hell is on the other side of it. There's no way a kid could be out there in that weather. There's no way anybody could be out there in that weather. Whatever. God. Whatever's out there isn't human. Whatever's out there is not human. That in her mind. And Tokage would slowly lower the weapon and sit it back down, carefully making her way away, as the person on the other side does continue to pound on the door, trying to beg to be let in. And this, It does somewhat annoy her. Her heading back upstairs and gonna close the door. Her gonna sit in that room. And Tokage, she does just don't sit there. Taking a breath in and taking a breath out. Just trying to calm her nerves. And this, it's bad. Really, really bad. As currently, she's gonna turn, looking at some of her gear and bring her hand up. Her going to grab a radio and try to turn it onto a channel. Trying to at least radio in, lowering the volume. Is anyone there? Her gonna stop at the button. And nothing. Hello? Is anyone there? Nothing. Come on, just please, someone. Just please. Right now, please, 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 just pick up. Her pressing the button. Is anyone there? And currently, there is nobody. Tokage, a bit more annoyed. She's stuck here alone with a bit of a problem. Izuku, he's not warming up. Ochako is. And, well, they can't start a fire, they're out of power. And Izuku, his injuries might kill him. I mean, his body doesn't have enough warm blood. His body doesn't have any heat. It's losing it. And Tokage, she only has one idea in mind. One that could help. Though, it is a bit concerning. And we do currently have Izuku, who does sit there later at dinner. And things feel strange. Currently, him walking into the kitchen and going to set something down. Him going to turn and trying to talk about it with his mom. You know, it was actually really good. You okay, Zuku? Her gonna turn. And Deku, he would see a strange image. It's there for a second. Almost like a flash. Like a light being on and off in a second. And Deku, his face is gonna turn pale. Him looking at his mother as she does it a turn, asking if he's okay. Her holding up the bloody knife. Before Deku, he has us turn and talk about it. He's fine. And we look back at her. And right now, there actually is where Inko would have turned back to the item she was preparing. Talking about it. Well, that's good. Her cutting carrots. As she does, could express currently going to throw something into the sink. Right now, she was doing some meal prep for his father. He's gonna be going back overseas. Though, the fact of the matter is, did Izuku remember to say goodbye? I mean, after he gets to sleep, he's not gonna wake up. Yeah, Mom. Yeah. I know I talked to Dad already. Though, how have you been doing? Hmm? What do you mean? I, I don't know what I mean. It's just everything going on. Dad hasn't been home in a long time. And he's just going back over there right now. It just doesn't seem right. He comes to visit and leaves. I don't know. The last time I saw him I was a kid. I barely remembered his face. Hmm. That's unfortunate, Zuko. Though, her gonna turn. And around Deku, you would hear a bang on the door. As their axes were Inko, would have turned, staring at that. Her disregarding it. And Deku, he does get to turn himself. Right now, him feeling this strange heat in his chest. And it's concerning. It's weird. Right now, him turning to face the door. And the door, it's moving. It's like someone's trying to kick it full force in the exact middle of it. It's bulging out of the door frame, but then it just stops. It goes in and then does it again. It's almost like a heartbeat. And Deku hears that thought cross his mind. Currently, him turning his head as the room it doesn't change, and he has to see the scene underneath his feet. Currently, him staring at his dead mother, and his mother, she's oh god, mom. I'm gonna bend down, and Inko would immediately gonna bring her hand up, grabbing Deku by the throat and turning, smashing his head into the counter. And Deku, he doesn't feel blood pour down the side of his face as he's immediately thrown to the ground. And currently Izuku, in the real world, he has a sudden shift. Currently Tokage laying there and holding onto Izuku, as she does try to tell him that it's just a nightmare. And Deku, he still lay there, out of it, unaware as to what's happening in the real world. And Tokage can tell. Whatever's going on out there, it's not good. And it's really, really bad. Currently, Deku, going to actually lay there on the ground as his mother does hold out her hand, holding Deku by the throat. And she is trying to keep Izuku pinned to the wall. Currently, her bring up with her hand as Deku does not bring his hand out, grabbing onto his mother's head as he does smash it backwards and her neck does a snap. Currently, her head gonna turn and then immediately stretch out. As Deku, he has been to hear a strange voice. He hears something off. Before, he doesn't hear another voice. And there is where the Man of Flames does come flying in. Currently, him crashing through the window and going to land. And Deku, he would have turned looking up, as the Visions of All Might does stand there. And I would have moved forwards. And there currently is Izuku. Izuku, he has a sudden jump up. Right now, him, hours later, a lot more alarmed. And things feel weird. Things don't feel right. He's. Where is he again? No, no. The last thing that's clear. All Might's mom? He was at home, but this isn't home. Izuku laying there. And he was going to start pushing off some of his blankets. Him concerned and feeling pain shooting up his back, along with the fact that there is also his arm. Him holding it up and looking at the bloody bandages. This concerning him. Him gonna lay back down and feeling somebody to his side. As Deku, he doesn't turn his head and see Tokage. Her currently laying there, as she has herself wrapped around Deku's arm. And Deku, he is a bit confused for a second. However, he would take a breath in. Him letting out a bit of a breath and finding that it's still cold in here. It's not warm. His face. He's huh? I'm gonna bring his hand up, grabbing onto Tsukage's shoulder and gonna start trying to shake her awake. And right now there actually she's gonna wake up. Her staring at Deku and actually still gonna sit up, asking if he's okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Though, where's my shirt? Just lie back down. Hmm? No, we need to. Where? I'm I'm okay. No, you're not, Izuku. Lay back down. Her bring her hands up, expressing to him. His shirt is hanging up. It's drying out, and it needs to be cleaned because it's covered in blood. You should see the other guy. I don't want to see the other thing, okay? Listen, you've been out of it for a bit of time. How how long do you think it's been? I don't know. How long? It's been a few hours, okay? Listen, the storm is still going on outside. It hasn't lifted. It's been a little heavy. Honestly, it could be like that for a few days. Ochako is still asleep and she's resting. She was up not too long ago. A few hours, but she's getting a fever. All of us are sick. Whenever I whenever I can, I'll radio back in. Okay? They'll pick us up. Someone will come get us. I'm the only one healthy enough right now to make the call. What about the supplies? Someone might find them. Okay, someone might. But we got what we can, and if we do need to, we can tell them where they are. Give them the warning, and just let them do their own thing. Okay? Izuku laying back down. And Deku, he just remains still. Tokage still isn't sitting up, expressing to him. Right now, they've got a lot to do. A lot of things they need to take care of. Mainly themselves. Listen, there is a pharmacy at the store they were at. If they do need to, they can make another run. Make up for the supplies they lost in those 2 bags. It's not that big of a deal. Besides, if they can probably try to scavenge and find those bags. Retracing their steps will be easy. She led them back here. All they've got to do is find out where exactly here is from. Right. Right. No, that that does make sense. You're still exhausted. Your body is doing a lot, okay? You lost a lot of blood. You said that. Did that thing hit an artery in my arm? It could have. Though, it didn't hit the veins. You're somewhat okay? Your armor took a lot of the damage from it, though. But it's still alarming. Right. No, thanks. But how about Ochako? Is she worse? No, honestly, I think you're worse. I mean, I don't know what exactly hit you in the back, but it was a little deep. I stitched you up, and then I kept an eye on you two. I don't know what's outside, but I'm hoping it's gone now. What? There's something else out there, and it freaked me the fuck out. Organists don't cheer up, and Deku, he has a stare at that. Or him going to turn and stare at her for a second, bring his hand up as she does at least fall down into Deku's chest. Her begins to don't cry, and talking about it. It sounded like a kid. It sounded like a goddamn kid, and it wanted inside. She almost let it inside. She just, she doesn't know. Her trying to ask him if it could have been real. And Deku, he doesn't want to think about that. I mean, the idea of letting somebody else inside the base, letting them inside of this building, it's already bad enough. But I mean, if there was. Fuck. That's a different story. They don't. They've had to deal with deceivers before. But that's a new level. And it does not concern Izuku. We're now him laying there as the storm is going to rage on. And currently Deku is trying to conserve his own strength. And Tokage, she's not sure what to do. She wants to go home, leave this place. And once the storm is going to pass, they'll do just that. They'll try to get away, and the group will try and get more resources. Deku told them quite apparently that there was a supply cache inside that store. They got a lot of stuff. And the fact of the matter is, if they got 9 bags worth of supplies filled up and they were still going in and out, there's got to be a lot more. And the group, they know that. It's a chance they're willing to take. I mean, they're a little desperate, but right now, that should last them a good amount of time. And currently, we do actually have Izuku. Heida's gonna lay there, inside that building, and waiting on a few things. And we do currently have nearby a zombie. It is walking through the snow. A lot currently going through their mind. A lot to think about. A lot to do. Though it is of a few places to head to. And currently it is a shuffle its way down the road. Heading away from this place. Since nobody, they would answer their door. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.